Number 17A, a masterwork of chaos and genius. In 2015, hedge fund manager Kenneth C. Griffin made headlines with a $500 million deal that included the acquisition of Jackson Pollock's Number 17A. This iconic piece, an oil-on fiberboard, is a quintessential example of Pollock's groundbreaking drip painting technique. Painted in 1948, just a year after Pollock introduced this revolutionary style, Number 17A immerses the viewer in a complex vortex of color, where layers of paint blend seamlessly, defying any attempt to distinguish top from bottom. Smudges of yellow, blue, and black soften the composition, while three nearly parallel white brush strokes command attention, guiding the eye diagonally across the image. Pollock's journey to fame was far from straightforward. Initially, his drip paintings faced significant public scrutiny and were largely unpopular, fetching low prices in the art market. However, this began to change in 1949 when Number 17A was featured in a Life magazine article that questioned, "Jackson Pollock, is he the greatest living painter in the United States?" The article's mix of mockery and respect marked a turning point, propelling Pollock into the limelight and making his name synonymous with American art. Jackson Pollock, a towering figure of 20th century art, was renowned for his extravagant techniques on large canvases. His work epitomized the abstract expressionist movement of the 1950s, symbolizing the post-war era's cultural, societal, and political shifts. While his later works, characterized by the raw, uninhibited style of action painting, brought him fame, his early pieces were far more methodical and influenced by his studies at the Art Students League in New York. Under the tutelage of regionalist painter Thomas Hart Benton, and inspired by surrealism and Mexican muralists like Diego Rivera, Pollock's early work reflected a restless quest for artistic identity. In these formative years, Pollock's paintings revealed his relentless experimentation. His abstract brush strokes and erratic gestures were not merely random but driven by an intense need to move and express, rather than conform to any predetermined scheme. This approach, often referred to as action painting, saw Pollock transforming his painting process into a dynamic, almost dance-like performance. Eschewing traditional easels, he would lay his canvas on the floor, circling around it and using sticks to flick and drip paint, or pouring it directly from the kiln, favoring household enamels over oils. Despite the acclaim, Pollock's life was marred by struggles with depression and alcoholism, and he eventually abandoned the drip technique that had brought him both fame and criticism. His wife, Lee Krasner, a talented abstract painter, put her career on hold to support Pollock. Just after 10 p.m. on August 11, 1956, Pollock, who had been drinking, crashed his car into a tree less than a mile from his home. Ruth Fleetman, his girlfriend at the time, was thrown from the car and survived. Another passenger, Edith Metzger, was killed, and Pollock was thrown 50 feet into the air in a birch tree. He died immediately. After Pollock's death, Krasner began painting in the barn that had been his studio, and by the time of her death in 1984, at age 76, she was finally recognized for her own work, and not merely as Mrs. Jackson Pollock. Today, the farmhouse and barn studio comprise a museum devoted to the study of the married painter's intertwined working lives.
I can control the flow of paint. There is no accident. Jackson Pollock.